Hi, gang. So, I'm telling you, these questions I'm getting from this short series they're awesome. I have so many stories to tell you guys. If you're new here, my name's Kathy Robinson Pickett, and I am the founder of Friends Together, and I've been HIV positive. July 4th will be 40, not 40 years. And in 1999, my late husband and I started a foundation because thought I was going to die. But hey, I'm still here. And now our programs are bigger and better and awesomer than ever. But one of the questions I got out of this series I've been doing is, how did you get that commitment in the beginning for your camp programs and that kind of stuff? Well, that is one of the best stories I have. So when we decided to start Friends Together, and we decided to hold camps, and camps were for whole families, infected and not affected by HIV, and no matter what your family was, right? So our first camp that first summer was a week long, and we had 100 people at it, and we had absolutely no money. Literally, my husband put it on his American Express card. Now, the deal is, I know in hindsight that he thought I was going to die. And so that $10,000, it cost $10,000. That money, he figured whatever, he would find it. And he would make this happen, right? So we have our first camp, and when I tell you it was incredible, it was incredible. But we had a particular family, Miss Alice, who was from West Palm Beach and raising her grandkids. And Miss Alice's grandson, Brian, was HIV positive and very young, 8 years old, and in very, very frail health. Not expected to make it at that point. And so it was the last day of camp. And everybody is hugging and saying goodbye and, all those kinds of things like you do at camp. Everybody's crying. It was great. And I see Brian run up to Steve and Father Bill. Father Bill was the Episcopal priest that ran this camp. And Brian says to Steve, when's the next camp going to be? And Steve said, Brian, I promise you we'll have camp again next year. I'll see you next summer, I promise. And Brian looked at Steve as only an 8-year-old can and said, oh, I might not be alive then. Hopefully you'll remember me. And he runs off. Literally. I see my husband just begin to cry. I see Father Bill just begin to cry. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm trying to make my way over. But before I can, I hear Steve call Brian back. So Brian runs back over, and Steve says to Brian, if we have a Halloween camp, do you think you can still be alive for that? And Brian says, well, how long's Halloween? And Steve said, 3 months, Brian, 3 months. And Brian says, I think I can do that. And so Steve says, okay, announcement, everybody, we're having a Halloween camp. Everybody's coming back the weekend of Halloween. I'm looking around the room. Where did my husband find this money tree, right? Where did Father Bill find this money tree? Well, guess what? We had Halloween camp, and we had camp every 3 months from then on. And guess what? This was 2001 that we had our first camp. No, 2000, sorry. Today is 2024, and Brian is still here. And Brian is kicking, and Brian is awesome, and Brian is grown. And we have done our entire programs walking on faith. We are not a religious organization. We're not. But we walk in faith, and the money comes, and we continue to do what we do. Thanks for the question.